Horace and the Giant Cake by Aaron McConnell. Once there was a man called Horace who lived in a very pleasant area of London. He had a very nice house in which he was very happy. Horace was jolly pleased with his lot. "Awfully nice to meet you, old spud. I'm Horace." The next day was Horace's birthday. His wife, who is called Doris, thought it would be jolly nice to buy a birthday cake for Horace. "I'm Doris. Great to make your acquaintance." "I say, Horace, old sausage, would you like a birthday cake tomorrow?" asked Doris. "Oh, dearest Doris," he replied, "birthday cakes are so boring, don't you think?" "Well, let's get one that's not boring, old bean," said Doris with a definitive nod. "Oh, don't be silly, Doris," snorted Horace. "How can a birthday cake not be boring?" "Well, old pancake, I'll jolly well get you a giant birthday cake. Let's see how boring that is," said Doris, with her arms folded firmly across her chest. That very day, Doris called the best baker in the city of London and had him bring all his baker friends to their very nice house. She asked them to build the biggest cake the world has ever seen. Mrs. Walker, who lived across the road, saw all the bakers arrive. "Well, I never," she scolded from behind her curtains. The bakers decided the very nice house was too small to make the biggest cake in the world. Oh no, it was absolutely too small. So, given that it was a beautiful sunny day, they set to work making the biggest cake ever, on the front lawn. Mrs. Walker, who lived across the road, saw all the baking begin on the lawn. "Well, I never," she scolded from behind her curtains. Soon there was stirring and frothing and lots of shouting. There were flames and bubbling and all sorts of gesticulation. Soon enough the cake started to rise. It rose and rose until it was taller than the house. When it had finally stopped rising, the bakers began to cover it in chocolate. What an incredible amount of chocolate! There were trucks filled with chocolate arriving at the very nice house. Mrs. Walker, who lived across the road, saw all the chocolate trucks arriving. "Well, I never," she scolded from behind her curtains. When the cake was finally covered in chocolate, the bakers began to write on it with icing, giant icing. The writing was so big that it was visible from outer space. The writing said, "Happy birthday, Horace, old fellow." By the time the cake was finished, it was the morning of Horace's birthday. He was delighted. "I say," he exclaimed, "that is a jolly enormous cake. Not at all boring, Doris dear." Doris beamed with pride. She stood there with her brother, who was called Boris, and encouraged Horace to try some of his cake. Horace didn't know where to start. It wasn't exactly the sort of cake that you could cut a slice of. It was enormous. Eventually, Horace simply walked up to it and started eating wherever his face landed. The cake was delicious. Horace was ecstatic. He was also hungry. He ate and he ate until he had made a little tunnel in the side of the cake. Mrs. Walker, who lived across the road, saw Horace eating a tunnel into the side of the cake. "Well, I never," she scolded from behind her curtains. Doris and her brother Boris didn't see Horace for a full month after that. He just kept eating his way into the cake. They knew he was okay because once in a while he would shout, "I'm okay, dearie do," from somewhere inside the cake. A long time passed, but eventually Horace ate his way right through the cake. He appeared at the other side with a huge chocolate-covered grin on his face. "I say, that was rather good," he grinned. Horace spent another month eating more tunnels through the giant cake. Eventually, he started to eat out entire rooms within the cake. By that time, the cake was getting somewhat stale and hard. Try though he might, Horace couldn't bite through it anymore. "What are we going to do now, old sausage?" asked Doris. "Well, I do have a jolly splendid idea," returned Horace with a wide grin. They turned the cake into a very large and roomy house. It went up for rent, and Mrs. Walker jumped at the chance to live in it. She was as proud as Punch to live in such a luxurious abode. "Well, I never," she said with a smile. The end.